So obviously I was in high school from like 2001 to 2005. I always tell people like young guys, grassroots guys who work with me, like I was you guys, like online trying to find, searching for stuff. When Google was like super young, on there, just different search engines, like basketball workouts, basketball programs, point guard programs. I still have notebooks from when I was that age. I just had workouts that I had found. Stuff today is much better than anything that I was using. Stuff is much more systematic. It's periodized. Their programs are not just a series of drills. So what you guys have is so much better than what players had before. And so that being said, there's no excuse to not be working on your game because there's so much knowledge there. What you can fall victim to is paralysis of analysis, in that if you get this and this and this and this and this and you try to do all of them, you're not going to be great at any of them. So it's kind of like we talked, is finding something that you trust in and then following that all the way through. Maybe you like Coach Drew's programs and you want to do that all the way through, or you like Coach KP's programs. You find the stuff that you like and you follow it, but you got to commit to that. It can't be you do one program for 2 weeks and then one program for 2 weeks, one program for 2 weeks, and then at the end of 6 weeks you wonder why you haven't gotten that much better. It's about taking all of that information, finding what works for you, committing to it, and then following through the process. So I think, kind of prefacing the answer, there's obviously a big push right now that players play too many games. They may play too many games. I don't think players play enough purposeful games. So when you're kind of breaking down that ratio, a lot of it depends on player schedule and individual player program. You can do skill work 5 to 6 times a week. And that may mean that 1 or 2 days is shot work or maintenance work, where you just get in and you rep out a move at not extremely high intensity. But skill work 5 to 6 times a week, depending on your schedule and your strength and conditioning coach, you're probably going to be lifting 2, 3 to 4 times a week. Obviously, again, depending on your strength and conditioning coach. Some guys like to do total body. Some guys like to break up upper body, lower body. Some guys like to have you 3 times a day or 3 times a week and do upper, lower, then a recovery day. You have to play games. You can't just train and train and train and not play purposeful games. And that's where playing 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 1-on-1 with dribble limits, those purposeful games where you're working on something becomes very important. If you just go play pickup with no intention other than just winning the game, you're wasting those opportunities. Let's say you go back and you play pickup and you say, today I'm going to work on my one dribble pull-up. And obviously you're trying to win and you're going to play defense, you're going to dive for balls, whatever, but you work on that move. And so then you've trained it, but then you've also played it. So I don't think that for me personally, I'm not going to say there's a perfect ratio. It's, again, finding what works for you individually, while always keeping in mind you have to play those purposeful games. You have to commit to a program all the way through. And then skill-wise, you can be on the court doing something 5 to 6 days a week. It doesn't always have to be high intensity. It doesn't always have to be a lengthy period of time, but doing something on the court to improve those skills. So usually I try to hit on 2 to 3 main teaching points and progress out of that in the workout. So our focus may be hip swivel today and finishing. But then we're still going to incorporate shots. You're still going to get other aspects, but it may all be out of that hip swivel. And we'll build from just a hip swivel to a hip swivel and cross to a hip swivel, cross, pound pivot, and just progress, focusing mainly on finishing and then getting shots in as well. I always end with a lot of shots, just different shooting workouts. Or not shooting workouts, shooting games. Coach Drew mentioned some the other day. If you can shoot the ball, it's pretty much the only skill that can take you to the highest level if you're the best in the world on its own. Guys like Corver and Riddick, if you can shoot the ball, that can take you to the highest level. But again, to answer your question directly, 2 to 3 main focal points. Start with ball handling, finish with shooting, and in that middle 45 minutes, 2 to 3 main focal points.